Episode 133. Jesus. What's up, Yankee fans? Thanks for tuning in to the NYYST Podcast. For the first time in 132 episodes, you will hear a different voice open this show because Christian is on vacation. I'm your host, Chris, alongside my co-host, that guy, Rye.
What up?
Episode 133. The last episode before the Yankees go into the All-Star break here, and things didn't end as well as we'd like, but they got the split, right? So
they didn't lose their last series.
So really, we said it. I think.
Yeah, you two were saying that you would.
We were saying it the other day because me and Christian recorded a couple days ago. We had Joe Rivera on. We kind of did like a mid-season recap of the entire league. This show is going to be more based on the Yankees mid-season recap. Before we get into any of that, please, if you listen on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, head over to there, leave us a 5-star rating and review. And also we are on YouTube if you prefer to watch a podcast, which I didn't even realize until you had me watching Joe Rogan that I much rather watch a podcast if you have the time. Sometimes if you're just driving or whatever, listening to a podcast is awesome.
Yeah, in the
but
car,
if you have the time to like what and nothing else is, Yankees aren't on all week. Yeah, so if you have some time, catch us on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Just type in NYYST Podcast. We'll pop right up. Subscribe to the channel. Leave us a few thumbs up, comments, all that good stuff. So series breakdown of Yankees Rays. Like we just said, they split.
The first two games were nice.
Every game was a really good baseball game.
They play very good games against them. It's basically felt like playoff games every time. Every game they played. I said this
to you yesterday. I was shocked when I looked this up. The Yankees and Rays have played 13 games, right? The Yankees are 9-4 on the series, which
that was including today's game.
Including today's game, and
so they only have 5 games left against them. 6? Where they play 19, maybe?
No, 18. No, there's 4 games left. I think 5 games left. 5 games.
Yeah, what did they have?
Maybe 6. I'm not sure. No,
sometimes
it might be
it is 19.
I don't know with this MLB schedule anymore.
It's probably 17.
Anyway, so before the Yankees lost these last 2 games, they were 9-2, and it was a completely lopsided series. It's an
11-game win streak against American League East opponents.
Yeah.
Too.
So it still is lopsided, right? I mean, the Yankees are 9-4. It's not even close. That's a phenomenal record to have against the second place team in your division.
Absolutely.
But I looked this up the other day because I was like, I feel like no matter what, even when the Yankees win, outside of a couple games, every game feels close towards the end. And I looked it up and
a couple of Blake Snell starts, there were blowouts early.
Yeah.
But I think Rays ended up coming back that last time. He got taken out in the first inning.
Yeah. But out of the 13 games, only 2 of them had a run differential of more than 3.
Wow.
Going into the seventh inning. Because even these last 2 games that the Yankees won against the Rays, those 8-4 games or whatever, it was
2-run game.
2 extra inning games.
Yeah, so it was 3-1 going into the 9th inning in July 4th game. Right? 3-3 then. And then the Yankees blew it open 8-4.
So these teams really match up well against each other. I don't know if this team scares me as a playoff contender, but the Rays are a good team. They're definitely a competitive team. And if we're going to wrap up the first half of the season and we're going to talk about which team has the best chance of making a run at the AL East outside of the Yankees, obviously, it's definitely the Rays to me. I mean, I just don't see the Red Sox turning it on. I think they're still the Red Sox, obviously. I think they're going to be competitive, but
I mean, even if they do turn it on, how many games back are they in the loss column? I'm trying to pull up the standings now. So,
but here's the thing, right?
Like, how much can they even do?
Everyone keeps saying like, oh, the Yankees just tossed away this game. It does matter. They can win this whole division. They can lose it by one game and then be in a wild card, and this game will matter. Guess what? If the Yankees lose this division by one game, as it stands right now, going into the All-Star break, 8 games up in the loss column, they deserve to lose it.
Yes.
They deserve to be in a wild card game.
That's just a collapse at that point. That's not a 1 or 2 game slide during the season. That's just you
and I'm
fell
not
off.
and it's not that you can just throw away games. I'm not saying they're not important, but when you look at the big picture, it's time for the Yankees to now take advantage of something that they haven't had in a long time, and that's a comfortable lead in this division. You saw with the start, put aside all the other injuries on this team. Let's just focus on the starting pitching injuries. And when you factor that into this, the Yankees have severely overused this bullpen.
Oh, yeah.
Severely.
Ottavino's pitching every night, it seems.
But you can't blame anyone.
No.
It's just how the cards fall. I mean, this has been a season where the Yankees have overcome adversity the entire way, and we don't have the stamina in our starting pitching staff where these guys can go out there and throw 6-7 innings every time. And when you have a bullpen like the Yankees have, you're going to utilize it as much as you possibly can right now. And look where it got them. It got them 8 games up. So if you have the opportunity to say, look, we're coming up on the All-Star break right now, we gotta start being smart here, because we're getting into the dog days of summer now, end of July through August. We've seen so many guys tire, especially out of the bullpen already.
Yeah.
I mean, you see this weighing on a lot of guys right now.
You saw it on Chapman the other night. He seemed off. It might have been a bit of it.
If you win those first 2 games of this series and you can say, look, no matter what happens, and they were still competitive, but if you can say no matter what happens, I can give some guys some rest. We might lose these next 2 games, but we're going into the All-Star break 8 games up in the loss column. You're going to do that. And I'm sorry, it's the smart move. It is. Look at the schedule.
No, and you know what kind of sucks too? The games that the Yankees are kind of blowing out their opponent, and it looks like they will just be able to use their back end bullpen guys, those David Hale types, Luis Cessas. They end up blowing it, and then you have to go to Ottavino again or something like that. So these guys are getting used a lot, and that's what happens when you're a winning team. You're going to play a lot of games that are very close, and that's when you got to use these guys.
And you know what? Big props to guys like Hale.
Really, David Hale deserves a lot.
And Cortez, and even Tarpley in a few of his outings.
Yeah, he's come through.
He pitched some big innings.
He didn't look great.
You got to give these guys credit.
Game, the opener. I think he might have gotten an inning or 2 in. I don't know.
You got to give these guys. Totally was that in London?
No. Was it?
It was.
Yeah, it was. It was that last game. It was the second game in London. He gave up 4
me and
in
Christian
the first
just
inning.
said you can't
still won.
Judge him off of that.
No.
Look at all the guys that got shelled.
Yeah, no, any sort of pitching staff from London doesn't count.
But these guys have been really good. You got to give them credit. And
no doubt.
And I mean, this team is in a really good position right now. So they split the series. It's the All-Star break. Thank God. I think this team needs this break more than ever. So do the Red Sox. I mean, I listened to Susan Waldman, and Ryan Ruocco did an awesome job filling in for Sterling.
Whose call of his did I hear? It was really
probably
nice.
Sanchez.
Yeah, was it?
He had a few. I mean,
I don't know. He had one. It pumped me up.
But listening to Susan Waldman and some of these other people that traveled with the team, not even the players, just the media, the personnel, just listening to them, they're exhausted. You hear it in their voice. Imagine doing all this traveling, and on top of it, you're playing Major League Baseball. I mean, these guys are exhausted right now, and you can't sit here and blame them and say that they shouldn't be. This was Boone's opportunity to say, look, we have a nice long week ahead of us. I'm going to rest a few guys here. We're going to carry it into the All-Star break. We're still dominating right now, and I'm okay with that. And a lot of people aren't, but I think you got to look at the big picture.
Yeah, and people were throwing Chad Green under the bus after the d'Arnaud walk-off, which just pissed me off. We have to get a video put together of every time the Yankees lose a game, the reaction of the other team when they beat the Yankees.
Oh, it's crazy.
Is hilarious. I mean, it was like they walked off a World Series.
It's crazy.
But I get it. That was a cool moment. You deserve to celebrate that. But I don't know. It was a great.
No, it's always heightened. It's always heightened. Yeah, there's not much more to say. I mean, the Yankees won 2 games that they probably shouldn't have. They stole them, in my opinion. Even yesterday, I mean, I tweeted out, and I had a bunch of assholes have to retweet and say, I'll say the tweet first. I said that I just said after Hicks hit it, and I didn't care if they won or lost.
No, that's the thing. It doesn't even matter if they win or lose. All I said
was, this team, I said my first baseball memory was 1995. Ken Griffey Jr. rounding third base, scoring. I cried for like 3 hours. That's my first true baseball memory. I've watched baseball since I was old enough to see.
Yeah.
Like to actually open my eyes and see something and know I was looking at something.
I wonder how many Yankee games you've watched.
It's unreal. So in 1995, that's my first true memory of watching a game. And since then, I don't remember being so speechless. Now, of course, I wasn't going to be speechless over something when I was 10 years old. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a different type of
emotion.
But
I didn't mean that like this team was the best team I've ever seen. I didn't mean speechless like, wow, they're going to win this game. I meant that day in and day out, this team has every excuse lately to lose. And they don't. And they just find a way to fight no matter what.
It seems like they're losing every single game, too. Like they're trailing at some point. Well, since
the London series, they've been definitely struggling. But this is how you know they're a great team, because even when they're tired.
Losing in the game and then finding a way to win is what I'm trying to say.
Even when they're tired, which they clearly are.
Yeah,
they're competitive. Even when they don't win, they've been competitive. That's a good baseball team. And they're still not fully healthy.
They don't give up. That's like my favorite quality in a team. When you're watching a game, regardless of what the score is, you're not turning that game off, because you know that at the last pitch, you're down to your final strike, which Aaron Hicks was that game 3 of this series, 2-2 count, 2 outs.
And I mean,
and he was pumped up.
How many? And so then anyway, so I had a bunch of assholes retweet it and say 96, 98, 99. Listen, how many of those teams during the regular season, how many times did the 98 team leave you speechless? There was a different confidence. I mean, they were the greatest team to ever step on a baseball field. What I mean was overcoming all the adversity, the injuries, the travel, everything. They just find a way with 2 strikes down to their final strike.
Yeah,
Aaron Hicks gets up and hits a home run to tie it.
Different too.
That's it.
I'd like to
all the
see,
factors.
We should look into that. The 98 team, like what sort of adversity they had to deal with. I bet it was nothing like what the Yankees have had to experience.
I don't know. It could be.
Did they have 16, 17 guys on their then disabled list?
No, I don't think that's ever happened.
Was their ace out for the entire first half of the season? Was their setup man out for the entire season? Was their former MVP out to play only 6 games of that first half of the season?
We have games, like I said, they're trying to lose. They're throwing out David Hale in a tie game,
these
or
last
a 1-run
2 games,
game, and Cortez and all these guys, and they still find a way to win or at least tie it and stay. That's all I meant. I wasn't saying this team's better than 98 or whatever.
You're just like,
but you know what?
I
tweeted this the other day.
By what they're doing.
Yeah, I tweeted this the other day too. Since 1989, only 2 other teams had a 59-26 record after their first 85 games. Only 2 other Yankee teams ever, and in that time span, 30 years.
It wasn't 98 in last season, was it?
Yeah,
it was
98. They were 60-25, and last season 59. They were 59-26 as well. So it really had nothing to do with the record either, because last year's team didn't leave me speechless all the time.
It's just
the
way fashion in which they're doing it. It's different.
Anyway. I figured a cool wrap up of the first season, instead of just breaking down every player. Mm-hmm. I figured we'd go over some of the impact players, and we're going to get Christian on the phone probably right after this, and we're going to we're going to get his quick take on these things. I haven't really discussed that with him. He knows we're going to call, but
yeah, we'll figure it out.
I just figured we'd go over the impact players of the four main components of a baseball team, which would be the offense, defense, starting pitching, and bullpen. Because I think on a couple of these, really just one of them is a clear-cut answer. But the other three, I think, can be up in the air. And in my notes here, I have a couple of these categories that I kind of need to talk through because I don't know who I truly choose for each one. So we'll start offensively, and I think this is pretty easy, even though you can make a case for so many guys.
You could make the case for Gary Sanchez, especially if you take into consideration how he was what he did for this team last season, how he struggled so much. But I mean, come on, dude. It's DJ LeMahieu.
It's got to be. I mean, you want to talk about speechless? Being left speechless? That's what this guy's done all season. I mean, you can make a case for Torres.
Yeah.
Even Luke Voigt in a lot of ways.
You can make cases for everybody.
But DJ LeMahieu
not everybody,
is clear cut. I mean, he's the guy. He's the biggest impact player of this offense. I mean, and I think not even just within himself and his own stats, but I think the dynamic he has brought to this lineup is just impactful in itself.
I don't know what to even say about this guy. To have him be the leadoff hitter now, and he's kind of, I think, solidified that role as being the leadoff guy. He is a perfect leadoff hitter. Somebody that just starts the game out. He's most likely not going to strike out. He probably won't hit a home run or anything like that, but he's just going to get on base. He doesn't even have that many walks. He just gets hit after hit.
And if you go back to the show when the Yankees first got him, we were talking about, from what I remember, that it kind of spelled the end of Machado and that it did kind of suck because there was a lot of hype around the Yankees getting Machado, but we talked about the kind of guy DJ LeMahieu was and that he's the guy that the fans have been screaming about that the Yankees need a guy who puts the ball in play, who doesn't strike out a lot, and who makes things happen because these guys who get up there and either strike out or hit a home run are great to fill into this lineup, but you need a balance. And DJ LeMahieu is so good at it that himself...
It's the best I've ever seen, basically. I know it's only a half of a season, but the thing with him, what he brings to the table is in recent years, I guess you could even date it back to even 2009, their offense has relied on the long ball. It's just their entire offense. If they're not hitting home runs, they're not scoring runs. But this season, you've seen them win games in a completely different way. I mean, they went from 12th in the league last year with runners in scoring position. They're first in the league at batting average with runners in scoring position. They're winning games in a different way this season, and a lot of that has to do with DJ LeMahieu.
And to be fair,
if not all of it,
to be fair, I think the Yankees have 3 of the top 5 guys with the highest batting average and runners in scoring position because I believe Torres and Urshela. Yeah.
Even Stanton, when he plays, he's hitting with runners in scoring position. Luke Voigt has a high batting average.
When Stanton started to get hot again before he got hurt again,
he was hitting like 391.
He had a couple big at bats.
Judge is coming through with runners in scoring position.
He had a bad day today, but you can't blame him this series. I mean, he was phenomenal this series.
No, and this series for Judge, man, did you notice how terrible the umpires were on him?
Oh, these umpires.
And this was, I've seen him sort of flirt with the idea of talking back to an umpire and giving him.
I missed it today. I was listening.
He was letting him know,
and
man, that he did not like the
and
call.
Susan made it clear that this call was miserable. And even in the post game, I was listening again. I was in the other room and I heard Curry just saying this was a terrible call. Judge was vocal about it. And you never see Judge get as vocal as he did today.
Never.
So I need to see it. It wasn't a strike 3 call though, was it? No, it might have been.
Honestly, it's just, he was just going nuts at the
really?
Plate. I gotta
see this.
I mean, for Aaron Judge, yeah.
Instead of just his normal smirk,
like
look
maybe
down,
look down and
give the Jeter the Jeter smirk. Like, come on, man.
I forgot.
You're better than that.
Yeah, but it's like they need to sit these umpires down and be like, dude, this guy's 6'7". Like, You can't be calling these as strikes. They're not strikes for him. He's too big.
Yeah. And you know what? I say it a million times, and I'm not defending the umpires because I think they've been terrible. But we have so much more technology at our fingertips watching the games with the K-zone. This was never anything that was implemented 10, 15 years ago live during the game. So now that means that every strike the umpire calls that's a ball, or every ball that the umpire calls that's really a strike, we're looking at what the strike zone's supposed to be. So it's a lot easier for us to bitch about every missed call. So it seems like there's a lot more blown calls, or that these umpires are so bad, when really you take away that K zone like it used to be, where you're just watching the pitcher throw it into the catcher.
Yeah.
And the human element becomes even bigger, because you're sitting there going, to me, that looked like a strike, or, to me, that looked like a ball, instead of saying, no, that's a ball or that's a strike, because they're telling me. So to be fair, these umpires have a lot more on their back, and they're never going to be perfect. But on calls like that today, from what I'm hearing, it can't be missed. You can't call a ball that's that low on a guy who's 6 foot. And you know what? The lowness of a strike shouldn't even depend as much on his height as a high strike or whatever. So when you're calling it a strike that's that low, you would be calling that a strike on anyone. Do
you think the umpires go home and like watch tape?
Well,
and like
I think the good ones do.
If they know they made a bad call.
Yeah,
they go back.
I think the good ones do.
Yeah, well, watch some tape.
There's how many stubborn umpires are out there that won't even listen to a manager, won't even ask for help.
Oh, even the umpire today, he was barking back at Booney.
It's ridiculous.
Because Judge, I think, was still talking to him when he went back into the field. I was trying to find the screenshot of that, but I can't find it. Whatever.
So offensively, we agree on DJ LeMahieu. Let's go to defense.
Yeah.
Defense, I have 2 guys written down for me. Who would you say is the biggest impact player on this defense so far this year?
He hasn't been here long this season, but ever since he came back, I've seen this infield just totally solidify itself, and that's Didi Gregorius.
Yeah, hey, that's a great call, man.
He hasn't played a lot yet.
It doesn't matter.
I'm thinking
right.
Urshela. That's probably the easy choice. But I mean, I don't know. It's just ever since Didi's been there, that middle infield is so perfect.
Just like a pitcher and catcher are a battery.
It's like art out
right?
there. Yeah.
When a pitcher and a catcher in sync, it's just so smooth, and it's like an art. You're watching something. A nice double play. That's one of the best parts of baseball. And that could be the same said for shortstop, second base pairing, or whoever, with all these shifts. Sometimes Didi's on the other side or at their whatever. You're right. I actually think I'm going to agree with you. And Didi's not even written on my. But if we're talking impact, Didi has really solidified and made an impact the most on this defense. I think the 2 guys I have written down in my notes here, Urshela
Torres
and Gary Sanchez.
Gary Sanchez, that is a good one.
But I think that Gary Sanchez for me is more of, he's been so much better this year that his defense has just stuck out to me. I don't think he's an impact to the defense because he's been as good as he has been.
But he's an impact when he's as bad as he was in a negative
and that's
way.
where I'm gonna say that I don't think it's fair to put him as an impact player, because my criticism to everyone ripping him for being bad was that he doesn't make that much of an impact when he's that bad anyway, because his arm makes up for so much. Right. And yeah, when he has a pass ball and a run scores, we feel it because of run scoring. But how many runs does he save with his arm, and so on and so forth? So I think that me putting him down as an impact player on the defense is just me saying, wow, he's been so much better.
Yeah.
I think if you had any other competent catcher back there, it wouldn't be that much of an impact. I don't think he's made that much of an impact as much as Didi or the other guy I have, Gio Urshela, who has been phenomenal I mean, Gio Urshela.
He makes some big plays.
I kind of like that. I mean, I know lately he's been hitting the ball again. Had a big home run the other night, I believe. But I kind of liked that when DJ really turned the Jets on and like was just coming up big, that Urshela almost took a back seat when he had to sit some more games. And really, right now, his biggest impact again has been what he's here for, and that's his defense. And I kind of liked that because he didn't let you forget about him no matter what. Even if he wasn't getting a lot of at-bats or making a lot out of them, he was still so good in the field that you didn't forget about him. You didn't forget how good he was. So I think for me, I have to agree with you. I am going to go Didi Gregorius because
you've noticed
ever
that, right?
since
Because
then,
you know what else
the
that
plays
does?
this defense has made have been phenomenal.
It puts Torres at second base where he just seems like he's more comfortable. I know he was a shortstop though, but he just looks like a better second baseman. I mean, who knows what the future holds there?
Yeah, I never agreed with that statement until this year.
He looks good at my favorite thing is when Gary Sanchez has a close throw to second and he just gets that swipe tag. Him and Javier Baez on the Cubs, they're very similar defenders, and how quick they are with their glove. It is fun to watch.
All right, starting pitching. This could be tough
for me.
I have Tanaka.
It is kind of a toss-up because you could even say Domingo Germán, which I guess would be the only valid other choices. I can't really think of anybody else. But for Tanaka, if you're talking impact and you're talking off the top of my head, he pitched very well against Houston when he pitched against them. And he had, I think, 2 starts in a row he faced Tampa, a home and a road game, and he only allowed 1 run in both of those games combined. And then he allowed 4 runs in yesterday's game. Was that yesterday's game?
Did he pitch?
Or did he pitch in this series? Yeah, game 2 it was.
He pitched Monday night, I thought, against when they came back.
What was the last start?
When did they, on Tuesday night against the Mets?
Was it
when
the
they
Mets?
came back? That's when they activated him off.
Yeah, he gave up 4 runs in that game or something. But it's got to be in terms of impact and just what he's done in big games this season.
You're talking about Tanaka.
Oh yeah, what are you talking about?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Germán.
Oh no, Germán's all right. Yeah. I forget. I can't remember now.
Tanaka pitched. I want to say Tanaka pitched on Friday. I believe that was his last game. Look that up, but. For me, I'm going with Tanaka because not that it's Domingo Germán's fault that he was hurt. I'm not saying that I'm penalizing him for that. But when a guy gets hurt, it takes an impact player to pick up the weight. And I think with Paxton not being the guy that he was brought over here to be so far, he's just been up and down. And look, the guy's got some balls, man. He's gutsy.
Yeah, even what was that stat Christian sent us today? Let me try pulling that up real quick.
That was about his first innings. Kill him.
Yeah, it's nasty.
But outside of his first inning.
Paxton, first inning, 17 runs, 15 innings pitched. Rest of game, 20 runs in 56 and a third innings pitched.
Yeah.
So just 3 runs allowed.
That's crazy.
And like 40 more.
They were talking about it on the radio broadcast about how the first inning just kills this guy. And it does.
Opener? You maybe pair Paxton with an Opie?
No, he wasn't brought here to have an opener paired with him.
I agree.
He's good. Paxton has good stuff. He's just got to put it all together.
July 5th. So that was game 2 of this series. Tanaka pitched 6 and a third.
Yeah, Friday.
4 runs allowed.
So I think that Tanaka's complete game shutout against the Rays a couple weeks ago goes so much further than that game alone. I think it picked up his entire team. I think it gave them the ability to go on this crazy run they've been on over the last few weeks. So to me, that game alone put Tanaka number 1 for me. I know he still hasn't been the most consistent dominating pitcher. I know he still has his games where, he's not the greatest, but to me, it's Tanaka. End of story.
End of story.
And then bullpen. I have 2 guys written down.
I haven't really given this one thought.
I mean, the bullpen doesn't seem like it's been as great as it has been.
Though.
Do you really think so? Impact. The biggest impact.
So what do you think? It's Chapman?
No. And here's why. Because Canley's one of my guys I've written down. And here's
your
why.
guy?
Here's why I don't have Chapman. Let me tell you this first. I think Chapman is having the best year of his career right now.
Yeah.
I think Chapman is the best closer in baseball right now.
Okay.
Just because when he does put it all together in games when he's fresh and has his good stuff, he's one of the most unhittable guys you will see closing out a game right now. But Chapman was brought here to close out games. Chapman was brought here because he throws over 100 miles per hour and they needed someone stable to close out the ninth inning. So to me, yeah, he's been a great impact and whatever, but to me, he's not the impact guy that I'm thinking of. So I have Kahnle as one of them because without Tommy Kahnle,
I agree with that.
I don't know where this team would be as far as many innings as his bullpen's been used and not being able to rely on Tommy Kahnle with Betances being out. Tommy Kahnle has stepped in here after having one of the worst years ever last year, not even being with the team, and has been an elite reliever again, and a guy that the Yankees depend on in some of the biggest innings of the first half.
Yeah, because if you take away Tommy Kahnle and Domingo Germán, two players that stepped up for their injured, counterpart, and Luis Severino and Dylan Betances, where would this team be without Domingo Germán in that stretch and Tommy Kahnle?
I think impact player has a lot to do with the surrounding environment and really where this team would be given their current situation without this guy.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think Tommy Kahnle is one of those guys. Yeah, but Ottavino's been great. But again, he has been a big impact to this team. But for me, I'm looking beyond the filthiness and beyond the stuff.
I hear you.
And I have to say that I'm going to give this, this bullpen most impact player to two players. And it's got to be also Chad Green.
Chad Green. I was wondering if that's who you were thinking.
Without Chad Green now, we talk about all the situations.
That's fair one.
Think about the games he's opened. They're what? 8-0?
They're 7-0 and he's the opener.
I just mean with an opener.
With an opener,
8-0.
they're undefeated, yeah.
And he's pitched in 7 of those. He's opened 7 of those. Not only has he done that, but he's come out of the bullpen in games where they need him. I know he gave up the walk-off last night, but
what are you going to do?
But what are you going to do about those games? Chad Green, ever since he got sent down and came back up, which sending a guy down could be demoralizing. He came back and said, I'm glad they sent me down because I needed to work on things.
Yeah,
and
that could go one of two ways. And luckily it went the positive one.
So you know what? I'm going to put Chad Green in there too, because without Chad Green and having to rely on Nestor Cortez or Hale to open all those games and not have them maybe in the innings that they've used Hale and Tarpley and stuff like that, then maybe this team's in a different place too. So I'm going to go Chad Green and I'm going to split it down the middle.
And their sort of tear that they've been on, it seems like it correlates exactly with when Chad Green came back from the minors. So I agree with that.
So to wrap up the segment there, really you have people in each department that have made a big impact. And we didn't really, it's crazy because the Yankee outfield has been really good. We didn't even talk about anyone in the outfield, really.
It's tough because the only one that's played a decent chunk of games is Brett Gardner.
Right.
And he's just starting to turn it around.
Right. And really, every game you watch, there's a different outfield.
Yeah.
Think about before Maben got hurt.
Yeah. Forget about Cameron Maben.
So, to wrap up the show, I have a little trivia.
Cool.
Now, we were going to call Christian, but apparently
he's having dinner now.
He's having dinner. So I'm not going to wait an hour for him.
Yeah.
Maybe if he's around in a little bit or something, I'll give him a call and
needs a little vacay too,
and edit it into the show. But I'm going to text him and be like, bro, just enjoy your time.
Yeah, just go enjoy your dinner.
I know you want to hear yourself on the show.
Yeah, that's all he cares.
He just wants to hear his voice. He doesn't want one show to go by where his voice isn't heard. Take a break, man.
Voicemail. Leave us a message.
Leave us a message.
We'll get back to you.
Leave us a voicemail. We'll get back to you when we have free time.
For real.
All right, little Yankee trivia, and you kind of blew the first one, but
why? I gave something away.
So I'm going to try and
because I know too much, bro.
I tried to put together a little little trivia, a few questions that would correlate with midseason wrap-up numbers and also be a little outside of the box. Because like if I said who has the best average on the Yankees, that's
DJ,
simple.
Next.
Right?
336.
So these are a little bit outside of the box, and I want to see how
you know what? I don't know any of the extra stats off the top of my head, but maybe I could just do some deductive reasoning here and draw my own conclusions.
All right. Who has the most games played throughout the first half?
That's Brett Gardner.
How many do you think?
All right. So what they've played? What's the record right now? What do they play? 90 games already?
I believe they're 59 and 28. So
that's what
88. No, 87. Sorry,
87. I would say Gardy's played in 85 games.
84.
I was gonna say,
which
84.
is unreal because
wait, hold on. Now I gotta say, I wouldn't have known that if somebody. I think Christian texted our group chat saying that Brett Gardner's played a lot of games.
See, I didn't think that he sent that. I thought I saw that somewhere else.
So my guess probably. I mean, maybe I would have gotten to him, but no,
I probably would have said Torres, to be honest.
Yeah, I would have said Torres.
I feel like he's played in so many games.
He has to be right under there.
Anyway, if you go back to like our preseason shows and stuff, we talked about how okay we were with Gardner coming back, but we weren't okay with him playing every single day. He couldn't. Well, guess what? He's played more than anyone else, and he's made the most of it. Do you know what his batting average is right now?
245?
246.
Wow, I'm one off on Gardy, huh?
Which, listen, you're not going to write home about a 246 batting average.
246 from him.
But it's pretty respectable.
And he has 15 dingers
15
this year.
home runs and 41 RBIs.
What do you have, 13 all last year or 12 all last season?
I think 10 or 12. So
he's turning it on
when
now.
you pair that with the 246 batting average for a guy who really wasn't supposed to play every day, I'll take it.
The most home runs he's hit in a season, I believe they said, was 21. So he's on pace to have
and
his
that was
career high.
a few years ago.
Yeah.
But, when you are forced to play a guy like Gardner now, given all the injuries, you know that he's a streaky player. He always has been. With each year that has passed over the last couple of years, he's more and more streaky. You have to just be okay with it at this point because they're not getting rid of him. You can make the case that Frazier makes his team better than having Gardner out there every day, but Gardy's shutting people up.
Got to give a lot of credit to Gardner.
And, the thing that scares me with Gardner,
because I was kind of getting fed up with him even.
The thing that scares me with Gardner is he's notorious for just falling off the face of the earth towards the end of the season. So let's see how he comes back after the All-Star break. I'm sure the Yankees, if they find room, have a plan to sit him a little more than they have. But hey, the guy, not only does he have 15 home runs, a lot of them have been pretty big home runs.
Yeah, whether starting the game with the first runs or coming through late, he's doing well.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Who has the best at-bat to home run ratio? Meaning who has the least amount of... Yes.
Boom.
How many do you think? How many at-bats does he have when you average it out? How many at-bats does he have in between each of his homers?
Oh, all right. So you'd say he's probably at what? Do you think he's at 300 at-bats already?
No.
250?
He's hovering around 285, I want to say.
I would say one every 7-8 at-bats.
No, that would be unbelievable.
Crazy. Yeah. One every 17 at-bats.
One every 11.
Dude, that's 10, a lot closer than 7, man.
10.8 is actually...
That's sick.
The true number, but one every 11 at-bats he's averaging right now.
A home run, whereas Travis d'Arnaud is averaging one hit.
So wait, I could do the quick math here.
Travis d'Arnaud.
Oh boy.
Watch out, bro.
I hate Travis d'Arnaud too.
Yeah, man. Like, he's like a cocky Why can't you just leave your helmet on? Or at least after you round third base. I'm totally fine.
So he's had 259, I believe.
Throw the helmet off when you're about to cross home plate. You chuck it. He takes it off right after he crosses first base.
Yeah,
and does
douche.
come on, man. You're Travis d'Arnaud, dude. You were traded for Noah Syndergaard.
You're a loser.
R.A. Dickey.
All right. I like this one.
Okay.
The best and worst home ERA with a minimum of 30 innings pitched.
Wow.
So let's start
Does
with
this
the
include
worst.
relievers?
I'll tell you this. I think even if I did include relievers, it would still be these two guys. That's
Okay,
why I
so
said
it's-
minimum 30 innings pitched. They're both starting pitchers.
Worst?
So let's start with the worst home ERA.
J Happ.
Yes.
Damn.
6.29.
Wow.
Pretty bad.
And now we're doing best
Best.
home ERA.
Best home ERA.
It's got to be the big man, Masahiro Tanaka.
No.
Is it Domingo Germán?
Nope.
James Paxton?
Nope.
CC Sabathia?
CC Sabathia.
Wow.
2.31.
That is impressive.
2.31 ERA.
Wow.
Yep. Pretty crazy.
Dude, that was like my last guess. Nothing against CC, but I wouldn't even cross my mind. Damn, 231 at Yankee Stadium. That's nice.
Okay. Batting average against. This is the last one.
Ooh.
Batting average against.
That was perfect until that CC one. All right.
I knew that one would get you.
Damn.
And I think this one's going to get you too.
Batting average against.
Batting average against minimum 20 innings pitched.
All right. So this includes a reliever. They're on the active roster.
Yeah.
Batting average against. It has to be J Happ again. No. that wasn't my
This
guess.
is the lowest, I'm saying.
Oh, lowest. Oh,
Just in general, in the entire season. Lowest
the
batting,
lowest
average,
batting
against,
average against
minimum 20 innings pitched. It is a reliever.
Batting average against? I'd have to say that it's Aroldis Chappies.
Nope.
Tommy
This one's gonna
Kalin's?
this one's gonna shock you.
Batting average against? Not Zach Britton's.
Correct.
It's Zach Britton?
Yeah, man.
Man, so that means he's walking a lot of guys this year.
And it was kind of eye opening. Listen, Zach Britton
Damn,
hasn't been that
I started out
bad.
strong on that trivia.
Zach Britton hasn't been that bad. He's got a low ERA. I think Zach Britton, and I could be wrong. I'm just speaking out of my gut feeling here. I think Zach Britton has given up a lot of inherited runners. I feel like Zach Britton might come in and have a couple runners on. He seems to not be the guy all the time to get out of it. I don't know. I could be wrong. But to have the lowest batting average against at, ready for it? 123. That's how low it is.
What's his walk rate?
I don't know. I didn't even go as far into that, but
He has to have more walks this season than he did.
crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Wow. I feel like if there's one player that you feel doesn't exist on this team, as far as at least pitching goes, I'd say Zach Britton, dude. I feel like I don't even remember him on this team.
So we'll just to wrap up the show here. And again, you might have heard Christian, you might not have. If we do set up the call, I'll edit it in after our takes on the impact players, because I'll pick his brain a little maybe on that. But before we wrap up, let's do our normal look ahead here. The Yankees aren't back until Friday,
12th?
right? July 12th. Baseball opens back up Thursday night baseball. Astros at Rangers.
This Thursday?
Yeah. So
Toronto, right?
we most likely won't be back until the conclusion of the Blue Jays series. Sunday night. I'm
Unless
guessing
there's
we'll
some
record.
news, unless something
Yeah,
happens.
and listen, in between, I'm probably going to try and
Trade.
hop on this week and put some content out there.
Oh, yeah,
Maybe
we'll
go
get some
live or
content.
something a couple nights we can do or whatever. Put stuff up on the YouTube channel. Again, if you haven't gone to our YouTube channel, check us out, NYYST Podcast. Subscribe.
And then we got the All-Star game with Masahiro Tanaka getting
Oh,
named,
right. We didn't bring.
officially
You know what?
to
I had
the
that written down
All-Star game.
and I crossed it
Yeah,
out by
whatever. We
accident.
kind of passed through it.
Yeah, Tanaka now replacing another injury, but it's still an honor. I mean,
who's he
he's
replacing as
forget.
a former Yankee also was an injury replacement.
It's still an honor. Me and Christian talked about this last
SG,
episode.
my initials.
with Torres. There's how many 750
an honor.
active players at
His is
all
kinda,
times.
It's kind of like What did Aaron Boone say? It was a joke. What was his term?
He said it was a joke, and then he said those guys they can kick rocks.
That's what he said. Rocks
which means go fuck yourself.
Yeah, you said that on the
Christian said that.
Kid Rock. I thought you said Kid Rock, and it got me pumped.
Kick rocks.
But yeah, come on, Glaber.
So we'll be back Monday morning, July 15th. I'm imagining. Actually, I didn't even tell Christian this. I don't know what we're gonna do because
solo guy Rye.
I might be missing now. I'll throw myself some props here. In 133 episodes of the NYYST podcast, I have not missed one. Now, a big part of that is because I do the production, post-production, stuff like that. But you guys might have to record that episode. I might have to just show you the quick
I can figure it out.
fix here of how to record everything and then send it to me because I'll be on vacation. Yeah, I leave for my vacation Friday night. So I don't know. We'll work something out.
I'll do a solo pod, I guess.
I don't know. I don't know if Christian would probably have a friggin'. So yeah, someone will be back Monday morning. We have to get a show out. So anyway, let's wrap up the show with this. Let's just take a look real quick at the standings. And let's just give our opinion on who takes each division home real quick.
Sure.
All right. AL East.
Duh.
I mean,
the Orioles.
If any other team takes this division, that's a big problem.
I'm not gonna be.
It's a big problem because everyone looks at the games behind. They see 6.5. Stop looking at that, please. Look at the loss column. Wins can be made up. Losses can't. The Yankees are 8 games up on the Rays and 10 games up on the Boston Red Sox in the loss column.
Yeah. If
the Yankees lose this division, there's a way bigger problem than anything we can even think of right now. AL Central. It looks like
the Indians are starting to come back in that division.
And listen, I never thought the Twins were as good as they were playing. People tell me I'm wrong, that they're a good team. I'm going to say the Cleveland Indians end up taking that division. I really believe that. I just think they're a better team. And I don't think the Twins can sustain this type of success for the rest of the year.
I think the Twins will end up winning that division, but it could get tight. They are going to have to add another starting pitcher, though, I think, because they're kind of weak out there.
Houston has an 8-game lead in the loss column over the Oakland A's. I think Houston takes that home very easily.
Yeah, they'll probably double their lead by the end. Houston.
National League East, I'm going to give it to the Braves. I think the Braves all around have the best team. I don't know if they'll go far in the postseason. Like last year they fell short. I think they'll fall short again this year. I think they mirror the Yankees a lot over the last couple of years.
They're a year behind the Yankees.
Where they're a really good, solid team, and they're definitely a playoff team, but they're not playoff ready.
Keuchel had a nice game today.
Did he?
Yeah, so did Patrick Corbin, who's been pitching very well this year.
You know what? We do have to get to one other thing after this, so we'll get to this really quick. NL Central is a toss-up.
I'll say Braves also.
I'm gonna say the Cubs just to be fair. I think that
damn dude, that division,
they're the better team. But
dude, that entire division is separated by only 4.5 games.
Yep.
The last place team is 4.5 games out compared to the Orioles, who are 30.5 games out.
Yep. That's and then cool. the Dodgers. I mean, we don't have to look into that anymore. I think the Dodgers take the West with their eyes closed.
They're scary.
But you wanted to get to something, and I think it's a fair point to bring up real quick before we wrap up. Sonny Gray is an all-star. Good for you. We said it a million times here that he was going to end up in Cincinnati. He was going to be more comfortable. The spotlight's off him, and he's going to have a good season. Yeah, now, that move really impacted the Yankees as far as needing to get another pitcher and the decisions that they made in the offseason. And we said, however many weeks ago, that you can't kill the Yankees for signing J-Happ because, in my opinion, you need to give J-Happ a full year before you can look back and say they shouldn't have signed him. They should have signed this guy.
And he looked good in his last start.
Yeah. And I just think J-Happ is a second half guy.
Yeah.
So
J-Happ.
J half.
Second half.
J half. I like that. He's a second half guy. So I'm not going to sit here and kill the Yankees, but that doesn't mean that we can't sit here and say
A little speculation.
maybe the Yankees should have taken this path.
We had a similar discussion a few episodes ago where it was more the top end. If, hindsight, would you have maybe signed a Charlie Morton type?
Right.
But now you look at this perspective in the back end of the rotation, hindsight being whatever it is. Would you maybe consider going Sonny Gray, keeping him aboard, or maybe even signing Lance Lynn over J Happ?
Well,
Two pitchers who are pitching
you
well
brought up
above
Morton,
what we thought.
and I promise you
who pitched great today.
That at the end of this year, if Happ doesn't turn it around, then I'm going to sit here and criticize Cashman and the Yankees for their decision on J Happ. Charlie Morton's going to be the guy. I'm going to say that's who they should have gotten. Not just because he's having a phenomenal year, but because he got signed for less money.
The only thing that with Morton, where maybe we don't know a lot about it, is that he seemed very, very sure that he was only going to pitch for 2 teams this season, and that was either Houston or Tampa.
Yeah.
He wanted to be close to home or something.
Really, at first, it was just Houston.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe
if I'm pitching next year, it's
the
for
Yankees
the Houston
tried.
Astros. I don't know. Maybe they did. Those are things that we don't know.
But, Lance Lynn, he's pitching to a 3.9 WAR this year. Lance Lynn. He's 11-4.
What's his ERA?
With a 3.91. Pitching for Texas.
You said WAR.
His WAR is 3.9 as well as his ERA is also 3.91.
And do you have J Haps? I could pull up J Happ if you want.
Yeah, I have J Happ here.
So here's my thing with Lance Lynn. I think at the end of the day, J Happ is a much better signing no matter what Lance Lynn's numbers are, because J Happ is a guy that I know I can trust a lot more than him, especially in the postseason. Even though, again, J Happ got knocked around.
Lynn's a decent postseason arm.
Yeah, but you know what? J Happ is still a lot more... I don't know the word I'm really looking for because I don't want to say dominant.
NL MVP.
But I just think that J Happ has a lot more in the tank.
Yeah, no,
especially
stability-wise, Happ was
especially with the skill set you need to be successful in the postseason. Again, I know J Happ wasn't successful last year in the postseason, but I think he has more of an ability to be than
and
Lance
Lynn was nothing special in the postseason last year, but like this year right now, a 0.7 WAR for J Happ compared to the 3.9 of Lynn, and he's pitching to a 5.02 ERA.
Who's
that's J Happ now?
What was it?
5.02, which is probably decreased since his last good start. And then you got Sonny Gray, 2.2 WAR, pitching to a 3.59 earned run to average.
Hey, I mean,
all-star.
What would it be if he was in New York? Though?
Right, that's really like it's funny to me because if you asked me of these 3 pitchers, what's the order of their first half of this season of J Happ, Sonny Gray, and Lance Lynn, I don't think this would have been the order I would have came up with. So it's just
wasn't there one other guy though that we talked about? I thought there was another pitcher that we said was having a good year that the Yankees gave up on to sign Happ. I don't know.
I don't know. I those were the only 2 that I was thinking.
I'm not bashing the Yankees. I think you have to give it a year.
This is stupid though. Like I was just thinking. I just think it's funny that Lance Lynn's a borderline all-star and Sonny Gray is an all-star.
Well, no, because J Happ has to be better. I mean, plain and simple. J Happ wasn't brought here to be an ace, but he certainly wasn't brought here to pitch to a 5+ ERA.
But Lance Lynn's getting paid over there in Texas. Like, they gave him a nice contract, I think. Yeah, 3 years, $30 million for Lance Lynn. So the Yankees weren't gonna. There's all these extra circumstances.
Right.
It was J Happ that was. The
and
guy
look what J Happ did
here
for them in the second half of last year. I mean,
yeah. And who knows?
I'm
you're only as good as your last start guy.
And I'm not going to sit here and I'm definitely not criticizing Cashman and the Yankees.
And
I'm just doing a little speculation. We're doing a little around the league of
what
if. And Sonny Gray, for me, I would rather forfeit every 5th game than bring a guy back here that my general manager said what he said about. And just a guy who's truly just beyond intimidated on the mound pitching in New York. So he's completely off my radar. So again, we'll have a show out next Monday after this All-Star break, and me and Ryan might come on and just do some live stuff. If you want to catch us on Twitter at NYYSportstalk.com. Oh, geez. I always do that.
What did you do?
I always just add the .com. Just natural. That's our website, NYYSportstalk.com. Follow us on Twitter at NYYSportstalk. Our sponsors, Baseballism at Baseballism. Stay tuned after the show to hear a little word from them. I mean, this is it for me. I feel very wrapped up at this point. I don't know if there's anything else we really would have to touch on. I mean, the trade deadline's coming up. We'll definitely discuss, I'm sure, that in every single episode from here on out up until the deadline, and who the Yankees are going to get. Marcus Stroman's on the DL now. So yeah, I don't know how serious it is.
Me neither. I know he's just missing the All-Star game. That's Tanaka. That's who Tanaka replaced.
Oh, there you go. There you
Nice.
go. So anything else from you?
No, man.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to episode 133. Again, we'll be back Monday. I don't know. I think I might be missing my first show ever, but we will see. Stat Guy Rye.
Go Yanks. Chris, say goodbye.
Within a game, a bond is made. He teaches his boy a game he played. 2 gloves, 1 ball, a day at the park, and the 2 play catch until it gets dark. And his boy does better than he thought he would, so the 2 played catch as long as they could. The boy and his friends, they play in the streets, tennis shoes and cans, no bases, no cleats. They hit home runs and they turn double plays, 1 great catch, and he's Willie Mays. But the sun starts to set in the old neighborhood, and they played in the streets as long as they could. The boy goes to school and plays for his team. He develops his craft and follows his dream. He has moments of glory, he has moments of shame, but they shape his life and they make his name. But he begins to get old, and it's understood. The boy played the game as long as he could. The boy, now a man, he has a son of his own, and he teaches his son a game he was shown. His son's first game, he sits in the stands. He yells out instruction, but it's not in his hands. And being late for the meeting was not in the plans, but a cheer for his son as long as he can. This is America's brand. This is baseballism. Do you believe in baseball?